everyone. Welcome again to Indian Story Read Along. Today's story is from a very old issue of Tinkle. It is so old that I don't even have the cover, and I looked through all the pages and there's no date. I have no idea when this is from, but it can't be later than the early 1990s, which is when I got most of my Tinkle books. So this story is called The Foolish Weaver. There once was a weaver who was fond of showing off. One day, as he was preparing to leave for his father-in-law's village, a thought struck him. So he's thinking, so this is way long ago. Everyone traveled only by horse, remember. There was no cars, maybe a bullock cart, that was it. Or walking. So this weaver is sitting there and thinking, if I looked rich and impressive, everyone would envy my father-in-law for having gotten hold of such a fine son-in-law. And so he goes to his friend's house and he says to him, "Friend, could I borrow your mare for a few days?" And then the friend says, "Well, all right, but do take care of it." And then he goes to another friend's house who's a jeweler, and he says, "Friend, could I borrow your jewels and clothes for a while?" And then the friend says, "All right, but be careful with them." Soon, there he is on this horse. Look how the horse is huffing and puffing down there. And then he's riding with these nice new clothes and jewels, and he's so proud. He's riding on this horse who looks exhausted, and he's thinking, hee hee hee, everyone's gazing at me with such admiration. Suddenly, on the way, oh no, a storm! And he takes shelter somewhere and he says, "I will have to wait at this village till it clears." What a nuisance that means. What a huge inconvenience. What a pain. The storm raged on for a long time. It was late evening by the time the weaver could continue his journey. And so he says, here's father-in-law's village at last, and not a soul about. It's night, it's been raining, no one's going to be outside. He says, if I go in now, nobody will see me all dressed up. I'd rather make a grand entrance in the morning. Seeing a hut nearby, the weaver went up to it. Anybody in? And then this kind of scary looking man opens it and he says, "What do you want?" And then he says, "Greetings, good fakir. I am just," a fakir was like, I don't know, what do you call it? Like a magical type of person. Like they were believed to have spiritual or magical powers, and they were kind of like a sage, but not so wise. They were just kind of like shaman or magic men. "Greetings, good fakir. I am just a traveler wanting shelter for the night," he says to him. By the way he knows he's a fakir is that fakirs usually wear like orange clothing like they do there, and they have long grown unkempt hair. So those are a couple of ways he might know that he's a fakir. So then he says, the fakir says, "Oh, go away. How do I know who you are? What if you are a thief come to rob a poor fakir?" And then the weaver says, "Oh, sir, you are quite mistaken. How can I prove my good intentions to you?" The fakir says, "Well, do this for me then. I am old and find it difficult to go and beg for alms every day." So one part of being a fakir is that they would not know where their next meal is coming from. They would go and ask people door to door to give them cooked food, or ask to come inside and eat at their home during meal times. So he says it's difficult to go out and beg for alms every day. Alms are like food donations. If you wear my clothes and go today in my stead, you can stay here. And so the whole point of this weaver's going to his father-in-law's house all dressed up is he wanted everyone to see him all dressed up. And he's saying, "Oh, but how can I?" The fakir says, "Oh, then I'm sorry." All right, says the weaver. "I'll go. But what about my mare and my clothes?" The fakir says, "Leave them here. They will be safe with me." Do you think that they'll be safe with him? I don't think so. So dressed in the fakir's tatters, the weaver set out. Seek alms at every house. I have taken a vow to honor every house by eating what each offers. It was also considered a very great thing to give alms to people who are coming door to door and asking you for food. It was considered very, very good karma to do that. I can recognize the food from every house, so be sure to do as I say. So like he's asking this weaver now to go to every single house, not to come back unless he went to every house. Even imagine if he went to the first house and he got all the food that he needed from that very first house and they were really, really nice to him. Don't come back even then, says the fakir. Go to all the houses and get as much food as you can. I think it's interesting that he says that because once you have a certain amount of food, you don't need any more for a while. So then he says, I can recognize the food from every house, so be sure to do as I say. He wants proof that he went to every single house. Then the weaver is thinking, then I'll have to go to my father-in-law's house also. I think the fakir is asking him such a strange request to make him take as much time as possible. Soon the weaver arrived at his father-in-law's. Oh, the grain pit, it's full of water from this morning's storm. Alms, he's knocking on the door. Alms for a fakir. I'm coming, sir, says a voice from inside. Oh, then he's saying, oh, help, it's my wife. She mustn't recognize me. So she's already there, and the whole point of this trip is he was going to go and join her at the father-in-law's house. Then he freaks out, he trips, he falls into the grain pit that's full of water. Eee, says the wife. Father, mother, a fakir has fallen into the pit. Neighbors, neighbors, come, something's happened next door. What is it? Get a light, someone. So it's late at night and this is happening. Soon, he's safe, quite safe. Here's fire to warm him, says the father-in-law. Son-in-law, you. And then he's like, explain. He's chattering away. He's so cold. Then, when the hapless weaver narrated his whole story, a fakir, you say, says the father-in-law. But he arrived here just 2 days ago. I only hope he is a real fakir. They all made hastily for the fakir's hut. The mare, the clothes, the jewels, the fakir, all gone. What will my friend say? I hear first what I have to say, says the angry father-in-law. So you wanted to come to the village in the morning when everyone could see you, eh? Everyone can see you now, foolish one. And what a fine sight of a son-in-law you make. And you see everyone around him is laughing. The end. So like Tinkle stories don't have a moral to them, do they? This one? Nope, there's no more. They don't have a moral to them, but I mean, I think it's kind of obvious. He should have just been simple and not trying to show off because he really made a fool of himself. But I like it, and I think it's obvious where it was going. This guy didn't see it, but if someone's just like, hey, I just met you 5 minutes ago, but you can leave all your stuff with me. Obviously, not a good idea. So anyway, join us again next time on Indian Story Read Along. I have more stories from this issue and a bunch of other Tinkle issues from India when I was a kid. All right, thanks for joining us.